Okedono, the acting head of the department, Computer Science, UNIDEL. This afternoon, we'll be taking a look at GPA computation, GPA and CGPA computation. So first, we'll take a look at what GPA stands for. GPA is an abbreviation for grade point average. While CGPA stands for cumulative grade point average. These two terms are instruments that are used to assess student progress. Student academic progress is being assessed using the GPA and the CGPA. And so it is necessary that every student who is admitted into this institution should know what GPA stands for and what CGPA stands for, so that he or she will be able to assess his or herself during our academic work. And so we are going to take a look at some of the steps or procedures that one should follow in order to keep track of his or her academic progress. As a student, the first thing we should know is that you have to pay your school fees. Having paid your school fees, the next thing you proceed for is your course registration. So, you proceed to your course registration, and in trying to register your courses, there are steps or there are items, things you need to know. And one of them is that you have to know what we call course description. Because the courses you are going to register are described with certain items or codes. For your course description, you have the following items. Course code. The course code is an abbreviation that is given to any of the courses you are going to register. For instance, you may have MTH 101. That is a course code. And then you have to call the course title. MTH 101, for instance, would be Introduction to Basic Mathematics. And then you have to call course units. The courses are assigned units. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 5, it could be 6, based on the course content. For instance, MTH 101 is given 3 units. These are the terms or items that at the end of the day we are going to be using in our GPA and CGPA computation. a course is rated 3 units, for instance, it means that course will be given 3 hours a week. If a course is rated 2 units, it means you have to spend 2 hours a week. And then you have to call the status. The course status. The course could be rated core, a C. It means it is core. Some could be rated E. We'll talk about this later. What we mean by core course and what we mean by an elective course. Now, in a semester, you may have up to 1, 2, 3, and you put N there. Your N could be 5, it could be 10, and so on. Those are the numbers of courses you are going to register for in a semester based on your department. And in UNIDEL, we have sectional registration. It means that you are going to register your first semester and your second semester at the same time, precisely at the beginning of the session. And so these courses are made up of elective and core courses. And in the period of registration, for a semester, we have minimum of 50 units to be registered and a maximum of 30 units in a semester. You have 15 units minimum and then 30 units for the section. You have a maximum, each semester has a maximum of 24 units. And the section has a maximum of 48 units. Now, for your first semester, let's have this table. We take this as an example that in the first semester we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A student registers for 5 courses, and each of the courses has 3 units, 3 units, 2 units, 3 units, and then 2 units. And they are all core. In the second semester, this is first, and then in the second semester, we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there are 3 units, 2 units, 3 units, 2 units, 3 units, and then 1 unit. This is core, elective, core, and then elective. This might be the registration a student has established in a section. First semester, here we have a total units of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 units. In this case, it is less than the required numbers of units. So the student must be made to register a minimum of 15. And so we are going to add another unit and say it is called 3 and it is C. And then in this case, it will now be 16 units. That is the minimum this student has registered for this semester. And then in the second semester, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is 4, 6, 9, 10, 11, 14. 14, again, it is still less than the numbers of units required. So the student must register a minimum of 15 units. So we are going to add 3 units and it is called, making a total of 18 units. Now, these are the total units that the student has registered for the semester. Now, for us to go into the computation of the GPA, because the student has successfully registered and he has gone in for the exam for these courses. And so, for us to go into the computation of the GPA, we must have to know what we call the grading system. In the institution. We must have to know the grading system. And here we have the following as the grading system. We have the scores. A student who scores in UNIDEL, we have 5 points, 5 points grading system. We have 5 points grading system, and this is made up of A, B, C, D, E, and F. A score of between 70 to 100 is graded A, and between 60 to 69 is graded a B. Between 59 and 50 is graded a C. And then between 49 to 40 is 49 to 45 is graded a D. And then between 44 to 40 is graded an E. And then between 39 to 0 is graded an F. So this is the grading system. And so a student who scores an A is 5 points. A student who scores a B is C is 3 points. A D is 2 points. And then an E is 1 point. And then F is graded 0 points. So, having known this, we can now go ahead and compute our GPA, because the student has registered courses for first semester and second semester, and the students need to know his or her grade point average. So, to get your grade point average, to get the grade,
Let's change the battery.
but a C is 50 to 59.
Oh yeah, we are good. Let's go. When you're done, you can ask questions.
Now, to go into the GPA computation, you have to know the following items. You have to know what is called total load unit, TLU. Total load unit is the total number of course units carried by a student in a particular semester. So if a student in a semester registers, let's take 16 units. This is the total load units registered by a student in a given semester from the numbers of courses that he or she must have registered. This could be your first semester, like I said, and the second semester you have 18 units. It means that the total load units for that session is 34 units. And then, each course the student has taken, like we said earlier on, carries a unit. And so, the next item you will look at is total unit grade point. Total unit credit point. TUCP. Total unit credit point. The total unit credit point is the product of the units times the grade. Is the product of the unit times the grade. Now, for instance, your MTH 101, you scored an A. Your A is graded 5. It will be 5 times 3 because the course MTH 101 has been assigned the unit 3. So this one will give you 15. If you have CSC 101 and you scored a B, this one, a B is assigned from the grading system, a B is assigned 4 units. So times the numbers of units assigned to the course. If it's assigned 3, it now becomes 4 times 3, which is 12. So you will do this for the numbers of courses. And then, at the end of the day, you will add up your total total unit grade point. Let's say you've done and you add up, it gives you 120, for instance. And then you come here and you add up the units that make up the grading attached to the course. If this one is, for instance, there are 15, when you sum together, it means that at the end of the day, your GPA will be the total unit grade points over the numbers of total credit units, which will now be 120 over what? 15. And whatever we get here, this is our what? Our GPA for that section. Now your cumulative grade point average. This one is your grade point average over the semesters that you have taken. So in your first semester, in your first section, what you have is just a GPA. Once you have over one section, if you have 3 sections, it means at the 10th section, what you have is cumulative grade point average. So for a student who has studied 100 level and goes to 200 level, what we'll be talking about here, you'll be talking about your GPA and as well as your CGPA. Your 100 level, your GPA will be 3.2. In your 200 level, your GPA will be 3.6. But your cumulative GPA will be the total units or the average of your first year and your second year. This one will give you what we refer to as the cumulative GPA. So for a student who are getting 3.2 and 3.6, this will now be 6.8 over 2, which will give you 4.8, 3.8 is 3.4, which will give you 3.4 CGPA. So we have that grade point average is divided by multiplying your percentile score by your average grade points. And so in all, or in a summary, we have this table as cost, we have units, their grade points, and a unit that is grade points. So your course will be C1 up to Cn. You have your total, they are your units. Could be U1, UI, up to UN. That gives you your total load units. And then you have your grade point, which is your GP. And then multiply by, which is U1, UI, times your GP. And this will give you your total unit grade point. So with this table, you can conveniently at any given time calculate your GPA and your cumulative GPA, because your total units, total load units is equal to the summation of UI from I equals to 1 to n. From I equals to 1 to n. And then your total unit grade point is equal to the summation of I equals to 1 to n of UI times grade point average. And then your CGPA will be equal to the total unit grade point divided by the total load unit. So with this, you can conveniently calculate your GPA at any given point. Now that we can calculate our GPA and our CGPA, the next thing you have to know as a student is your progress. Which class of degree are you coming out with this category of, with this CGPA that you've accumulated? And so we have the following categories. CGPA of 4.50 to 5.00. This one is taken as a first class. And then a GPA of 3.50 to 4.49. This is a second class upper. And then a CGPA of 2.40 to 3.49 is a second class lower. And then we have a CGPA of 1.50 to 2.39. This is a class. And then, based on LUC regulation, we may have 1.0 to 0. That is 1.0 to, let me say 0 to 1.49, a pass. But this one, this class of degree is subject to NUC. Since we are using 1.0 as E in our GPA computation, a 0 to 1.9 is likely to fall into the class of pass, as class of degree. So that brings us to the end of the lecture. Yeah, I don't know if we have any question to ask as regards the GPA and CGPA computation. Yeah.
Sir, you said before that CGPA is equal to the total unit grade point, all about the total load units. Yeah. From the beginning, you said GPA is the total unit grade point, so I don't understand that.
Now, we said GPA is over a semester or a section. Over a section. But the CGPA is over not just one session now, but 2 or more sessions. Like, you may have your GPA now in 100 level. You may have a GPA of 3.6. And then in your 200 level, you have a GPA of 4.0. We are saying that your CGPA, this is not your CGPA, but rather the summation of this and this divided by 2 will give you your CGPA. Or for a student who has successfully written all exams from year 1 to final year, all you need to do is to put all the courses in a table, all the grades in a table, and then all the units in a table. Then you multiply the grade. Like A is 5, it is B, it is 4, it is C, it is 3. That is the unit that's assigned to that course. You sum up, and then you sum up, and then you divide this by what? By this. That gives you, that is your total unit grade point now, divided by the total unit, total load unit. So it will be wrong for you to use your sectional GPA as your CGPA, because if you are not serious with your studies, it will rather come down rather than going up. Your first year could be 4 points or even 5 points. If your second year is 3 points, it means that your CGPA has what? Has reduced. So that is the basic difference between your GPA and your CGPA in terms of monitoring your progress. So your progression is determined by the what? By the CGPA. Any other question? So, my guests out there, we have come to the end of the class. Till we meet another day. Thank you.